Welcome to Jung the Shadow Decoder, where we dive deep into the unconscious to decode the archetypal forces shaping iconic lives. Today, we unravel the enigmatic psyche of Marilyn Monroe, a woman adored, misunderstood, and endlessly mythologized. But what if her fame, her fragility, and her magnetic allure weren't just personal traits, but expressions of a powerful archetypal energy? In Jungian psychology, archetypes are universal patterns of behavior, ancient forces that live within all of us. In this episode, we'll explore which archetype governed Marilyn's life, how its light and shadow played out in her story, and why her tragic brilliance continues to haunt the collective imagination. Stay with us until the end, because this archetype isn't just Marilyn's. It might be yours too. You'll discover how this energy shows up in your relationships, your desires, and even your self-sabotage. If you're ready to decode your own shadow, hit subscribe and join us on this journey into the depths of the human soul. To help you grasp what's unfolding in this video, let's first explore the concept of archetypal energies, deep behavioral patterns that every human is susceptible to. These are not just personality traits, but ancient psychological blueprints that influence how we think, feel, and act. Carl Jung, one of the most influential minds in psychology, was the pioneer who uncovered these forces. He introduced the idea of the collective unconscious, a vast inner realm shared by all humanity, filled with symbols, instincts, and recurring motifs. Within this realm live the archetypes, timeless figures like the leader, the mentor, the healer, inner characters that shape our choices, our fears, our desires, and our transformations. They appear in myths, movies, and dreams, but they also live inside us. Each archetype has two sides: the light, representing our strengths, talents, and conscious potential; the shadow, the hidden aspects we avoid, suppress, or deny. Yet they hold the key to our deepest truths. Jung believed that facing and integrating these shadow aspects is essential for becoming whole, not by fighting them, but by understanding and mastering them. Welcome to Jung the Shadow Decoder. Here we examine legendary figures through this lens, not just to understand their stories, but to reflect on our own. Are you ready to journey inward and uncover the forces shaping your life from within? What part of you have you yet to meet? Before she became the iconic Marilyn Monroe, she was Norma Jean Mortensen, born in Los Angeles in 1926. Her childhood was marked by instability, as her mother struggled with mental illness, and she was placed in multiple foster homes and even an orphanage. She married at 16 to avoid returning to institutional care. During World War II, while working in a factory, she was discovered by a photographer, which led to a modeling career and eventually a film contract with 20th Century Fox. She adopted the stage name Marilyn Monroe, combining a studio executive's suggestion with her mother's maiden name. Her rise to fame was rapid, starring in films like Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and Some Like It Hot, and she became the ultimate sex symbol of the 1950s. Despite her glamorous image, Marilyn longed to be recognized as a serious actress and intellectual. She studied at the Actors Studio and was known for her emotional depth and poetic writing. Her personal life was turbulent, with 3 marriages, including to Joe DiMaggio and Arthur Miller, and ongoing battles with mental health and substance abuse. In 1962, at the age of 36, she died from a barbiturate overdose, a death officially ruled as probable suicide but surrounded by speculation. Marilyn Monroe remains a symbol of beauty, vulnerability, and the complexities of fame, her legacy enduring far beyond her brief life. Her story, marked by fame, fragility, and an unrelenting search for love and acceptance, naturally leads us to a deeper understanding of her essence. Marilyn Monroe is the perfect embodiment of the lover archetype, and here is the proof. Behind her obvious behavior, the sensuality, the charm, the magnetic presence on screen and in public, there is an archetypal pattern that explains her journey. The lover seeks connection, beauty, intimacy, and emotional depth, and Marilyn expressed all of these with striking intensity. She radiated the light side of the lover through her allure, her vulnerability, and her ability to captivate hearts across the world. Yet she also carried the shadow, the fear of abandonment, the dependency on external validation, and the pain of never feeling truly seen beyond the fantasy. Her life was a dance between these two poles, making her not just a symbol of desire, but a mirror of the human longing for love in its purest and most complex form. Marilyn's embodiment of the lover archetype becomes even clearer when we look beyond the surface and explore the emotional richness she carried throughout her life. The lover is the archetype that drives us to pursue what we love, to dive deeply into passion, whether for a person, an idea, a project, or a vocation. It represents romantic love in its idealized form, and when it falls in love, it does so completely, surrendering to the experience with intensity and devotion. Marilyn lived this archetype in its light aspect with remarkable clarity. She was affectionate, charismatic, and emotionally expressive. Her presence lit up every room, and she had an innate ability to connect with others, to make them feel seen and valued. She was deeply empathetic, often placing the happiness of others above her own. In interviews and letters, she spoke of her longing to be loved not just for her image, but for who she truly was. Her performances were infused with emotional depth, revealing a woman who felt everything profoundly. In films like Some Like It Hot, she brought warmth and vulnerability to her character, making audiences fall in love not just with her beauty, but with her soul. She nurtured those around her, from her close friends to her fans, and often chose roles and projects that allowed her to express her emotional truth. Marilyn's life was a testament to the lover's capacity to choose from the heart, to live guided by passion and connection, and to embrace the beauty of emotional intimacy. Her light illuminated the path of love, reminding us that to love deeply is to live fully. But just as the lover archetype shines with warmth and connection, it also casts shadows that can be deeply painful and destructive. Marilyn Monroe's life reveals these darker aspects with heartbreaking clarity. The shadow side of the lover emerges when the desire for love and intimacy becomes dependency, when the pursuit of passion turns into obsession, and when the need to be desired eclipses the sense of self. Marilyn often struggled with intense emotional vulnerability, and her longing to be loved sometimes led her into relationships where she lost herself trying to please others. She was known to go to great lengths to be accepted, often sacrificing her own needs and identity in the process. Her marriages, though filled with moments of tenderness, were also marked by emotional imbalance, jealousy, and disappointment. In her relationship with Joe DiMaggio, for example, his possessiveness clashed with her need for freedom and expression, leading to conflict and eventual separation. With Arthur Miller, she hoped to find intellectual and emotional refuge, but instead felt increasingly misunderstood and isolated. Marilyn's shadow also manifested in her deep fear of abandonment and rejection. She often felt unloved and unwanted, haunted by the instability of her childhood and the absence of a nurturing parental figure. This emotional void made her crave affection and validation, sometimes from people who could not offer it in a healthy way. Her dependence on sleeping pills and other substances was not just a response to physical exhaustion, but a way to numb the emotional pain she carried. She battled anxiety and depression, and her sense of identity was often fragmented between the public persona of Marilyn Monroe and the private self of Norma Jean. The lover's shadow can also lead to compulsive behaviors, and in Marilyn's case, her sexuality, while empowering in some contexts, became a source of objectification and inner conflict. She was celebrated for her beauty, yet felt trapped by it, unable to escape the image that others projected onto her. Her professional life reflected this tension as well. She was often late to set, overwhelmed by self-doubt and the pressure to perform. Directors and co-stars sometimes criticized her for being unreliable, but beneath that behavior was a woman paralyzed by the fear of not being good enough. The lover archetype, when unbalanced, can lose focus. trying to embrace everything and everyone, and in doing so, miss critical opportunities for growth and clarity. Marilyn's career, though filled with iconic moments, was also marked by missed chances and unfinished projects, as she struggled to assert control over her path. Ultimately, Marilyn Monroe's story is not just one of glamour and fame, but of a profound inner battle between the light and shadow of the lover archetype. Her life reminds us that the pursuit of love, when not rooted in self-awareness and emotional stability, can lead to heartbreak, confusion, and loss. Yet even in her shadow, Marilyn remains deeply human, and her vulnerability continues to resonate with those who see in her not just a star, but a soul searching for connection. Marilyn Monroe's journey as the lover archetype reveals a profound and often painful truth about the human experience. Our longing to be desired, cherished, and seen can be both our greatest gift and our deepest wound. Her life was a dance between light and shadow, between the radiant allure of her public persona and the quiet ache of her private self. When she stepped into the spotlight, captivating millions with her beauty and charm, she embodied the lover's light: magnetism, sensuality, vulnerability, and emotional openness. But behind the scenes, in the silence between applause, the shadow emerged. A yearning for authentic connection, a fear of abandonment, and a struggle to define herself beyond the projections of others. Marilyn didn't just perform the lover, she lived it. Her relationships, often intense and short-lived, mirrored the archetype's hunger for union and the heartbreak that follows when that union is built on illusion. Her pursuit of love was relentless, but so was the emptiness that came when love was conditional, fleeting, or distorted by fame. In her vulnerability, we see our own. In her self-sabotage, we recognize the parts of ourselves that chase validation at the cost of self-worth. And so we ask, have you ever found yourself repeating the same patterns in love, in desire, in the way you seek to be seen? Have you ever felt that you were performing a version of yourself just to be accepted, only to feel more lost in the process? These are not random behaviors. They are signs, echoes of archetypes moving through us, shaping our choices, our relationships, our identities. Marilyn's story is not just hers, it is ours. It is the story of anyone who has ever confused attention with affection, who has ever mistaken desire for love, who has ever tried to become what others wanted in order to feel worthy. Her life invites us to reflect on the lover within us, not just the part that longs for connection, but the part that fears rejection, that hides behind charm, that aches to be known. At Jung the Shadow Decoder, we explore these invisible forces that live beneath our surface. We decode the archetypes that drive our behavior, illuminate our gifts, and expose our wounds. Marilyn's journey teaches us that true freedom comes not from escaping the shadow, but from integrating it. Only when we embrace both our light and our darkness can we begin to love ourselves in a way that is whole, not performative. So take a moment, look at your own life. Notice the patterns. Where do you seek love? Where do you lose yourself in the pursuit of being wanted? And what would happen if you stopped performing and started listening to the deeper voice within? If this story resonated with you, if you saw a reflection of your own journey in Marilyn's, consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience matters. Your story matters. And by sharing it, you might help someone else recognize the archetype moving through their own life. Let's keep decoding together. If you've stayed with us through Marilyn Monroe's story, it's because something in her journey resonated with you. Maybe it was the longing for love, the struggle to be truly seen, or the tension between who we are and who the world wants us to be. What her life reveals is that there is an invisible force shaping our behavior, a pattern that repeats itself, often without us realizing. That force is the archetype. And just like Marilyn, you too are under the influence of one or more of these ancient energies. They guide your decisions, your reactions, your desires, and even your self-sabotage. But here's the truth. These patterns can be mapped, and once you understand them, you can refine them. you can transform them into tools for growth, clarity, and achievement. True self-knowledge isn't just about knowing why you do what you do. It's about gaining the power to change it. It's about identifying the behaviors that hold you back and amplifying the ones that move you forward. Marilyn's story shows us what happens when we live unconsciously within an archetype. But what would happen if you lived consciously? If you could recognize the lover in you, or the leader, or the healer, and choose how to express it. That's exactly what I offer in my ebook, The Archetype Hack. It's a complete guide to understanding your dominant archetype and unlocking your true essence. You'll learn how to illuminate your psychological shadow, turning difficult emotions into fuel for transformation. You'll go through a powerful self-inquiry process to rewrite the beliefs that limit your potential. And you'll study the 12 main archetypes so you can activate any of their energies when you need them most. Have you ever wished you had the focus of a visionary, the resilience of a warrior, or the empathy of a healer? Archetypes are not fixed roles. They are energies you can learn to embody. And when you do, you begin to shape your life with intention, not just instinct. To make sure this knowledge becomes real change, I've included 2 powerful tools alongside the book. One is a self-hypnosis technique designed to break the cycle of self-sabotage and help you reprogram your inner dialogue. The other is the Nikola Tesla 3-6-9 method, a manifestation tool that aligns your thoughts with your goals in a way that's both practical and deeply transformative. These aren't just bonuses, they're the keys to stepping into a new version of yourself. Now you stand at a crossroads. You can continue watching stories of others, or you can begin rewriting your own. The journey to your highest potential starts with a single decision. Click the link below and get your copy of the Archetype Hack. Don't wait to become the architect of your own destiny.